Hello, welcome to another installment of PPC Unleashed. I'm talking today about 6 tips to make you better at Google Ads. I've been thinking about different strategies, tips, tools, hacks that I've been wanting to share here on the podcast. I was going to do small little clips, but I decided to just do one longer episode with a presentation here going over some of my favorite things that I've been thinking about lately that I think more people should know about, tips that I think more people should be aware about, because one thing I promised when I started the podcast is what I was not going to do generic BS advice here. I'm not going to talk about never stop learning or any of those little phrases that people say about getting better at something or getting better at PPC. No, I'm going to go over some very specific things that you can actually start doing, testing, and see if it helps you make better decisions and helps you make better optimizations. At least many of these have helped me, and I think more people should know about them. So we just started TikTok and Instagram, so I like the list format here because I can actually split this up into different clips, and I might be sharing little clips here or there on social media, so be on the lookout for that. But let me get started with tip number 1. And like I said, a lot of these are going to be some tools that you can use, hacks, strategies, and hacks is obviously kind of a buzzword, but let's just go with it. Let's start with number 1. And that is going to be to use the Google Ads mobile app. And apologies if sometimes my face will get in the way of the actual presentation. And yes, if you are on the audio only version, you can switch over to YouTube and you can follow along the presentation, but I'll do my best to try to describe what we're seeing. It helps you find the ideal target CPA or target ROAS of your campaign. So maybe you have downloaded the Google Ads mobile app. I don't think a lot of people have, but if you have, maybe your experience went something like this. Like you said, okay, let me give it a try. Let me go to the App Store. Let me download the app. Here's my phone. Let me download the app. Okay, install. Let me log in to Google Ads. Okay, now I have access to my campaign. Here we go. Okay, I look at it and I say, well, this sucks. I'm never opening this one again. Uninstall. Boom. And maybe that was your experience with using the Google Ads app the first time. Now, that was my experience the first time as well. But one thing I learned is that the Google Ads app does one thing that you cannot do on desktop, which is that Google will give you your, like I said, ideal target CPA or target ROAS of your campaign. So you go to any campaign, you open an account and go to any campaign that is on target CPA or target ROAS, and it will give you a recommended target CPA or target ROAS. Now, you might be confused about this because you might be thinking, well, I've seen the desktop version also give me a recommendation for target CPA or target ROAS. What you have seen is that the first time you switch to target CPA or target ROAS. So for example, if you're on maximize conversion value and you enter for the first time a target ROAS, Google does give you the recommended target ROAS, again, the first time that you're doing it. But after that, it will never give you a recommended target ROAS. I have an account here set to 200%, and it's not giving me a recommendation, but that same account, I open it on the app, I have it at 200%, and right below that, it says your recommended target ROAS is 170%. This could actually be mind-blowing for a lot of you, and for some of you, it might be like, okay, what do I do with this information? This means nothing to me. What it does is that it unlocks the magic number of diminishing returns. That's kind of what this helps you do. It helps you figure out how much you can spend or how low you can set your target ROAS or your target CPA, or how low you can set or how high you can set your target ROAS, how low you can set your target CPA before you start to underspend. Before the campaign, Google can no longer achieve that target CPA or target ROAS. So it really takes out a lot of the guesswork. So let's say you have scenario number 1. This is another account where I have a desktop here. I have a target CPA of 79. And on the app, it's giving me a target CPA of 98. If Google is saying the target CPA is 98 and I have it at 79, what is very likely happening is that I'm underspending. My campaign is not able to achieve this target ROAS. Therefore, Google will start to underspend. And if one of my goals is to spend the budget, then that is going to be an issue, right? So you have to find that balance or that compromise. What I might do in this scenario is I might put it at 85, 90, just to sort of stay in the middle where I compromise a little bit so that I can spend more budget and I'm still kind of achieving or close to the target CPA that I want. Now, there's another scenario which is the opposite, right? You might find yourself in a situation where you're checking, maybe you are able to consistently spend the budget, you have no issue spending, and you are achieving the target CPA, meaning your campaign CPA over the last 14 days is more or less what you have it set to. So in this example, I have it set to 95, and let's just pretend maybe you are hitting 95, it is your target CPA, and you are spending your daily budget consistently. Now, Google will say here, in this example, Google's saying your recommended target CPA is 60. This basically means if you're in this scenario, this is great because you can basically put it at 60, get much better results, and Google will very likely still be able to spend the budget. You'll be able to achieve that target CPA because Google is recommending it, right? You're not going to have issues spending, and you can achieve that $60 CPA. You can lower your CPA by a significant amount. So I'm always on the lookout. I'm always going into my campaigns. Anytime I'm doing an optimization, I open that account in the app if I have a target CPA or a target ROAS, and I check, what does Google think I can do? Right? And then I'd make decisions accordingly. So this really takes the guesswork out of the equation. It helps you decide on the best target CPA or target ROAS of your account. So give it a try. Like I said, next optimization you're doing on an account, open the app, check what the recommended target CPA or target ROAS is, and then make decisions based on that. Oh, and one more bonus tip, use the average cost last 7 days column, which you can create using the custom columns on Google Ads. And like I said, check the following. Am I spending the budget? And is my CPA or ROAS above or below my target CPA or target ROAS? And then open the app and check and make decisions accordingly. And that is number one. The number one tip is to use the Google Ads mobile app. I think you're going to find it very, very useful. So give it a shot. Let's go to number two. Tip number two, which is going to be to check search volume using the Google Keyword Planner. Now, this is one of those that you might think, this is kind of obvious. I do this all the time. And maybe some people do this all the time, especially if you're very experienced. And I know some of you are using the Keyword Planner all the time to find new keywords or for different purposes. You're using the Keyword Planner. But I'm not sure that all of you are using the Keyword Planner for this, which is to check for yearly trends and seasonality for your top keywords. So in other words, what do I mean by this? Just go to the Keyword Planner, take your top converting keywords, right, on your account. Take the 10 of them, 10 of your best converting keywords. Or if you're using shopping or something like that, if you're a shopping campaign or Performance Max, take your best performing search terms, put them into the Keyword Planner here, and expand to more than 12 months. I'm doing all time here, which gives me all the way back to like 2021. And then you find these little trends and seasonality. So here with the arrows, I'm pointing out we're seeing a chart that shows a spike every single month in January. It starts in January, and then throughout the whole year, there's a decrease, and then there's another spike, and the whole year there's a decrease, right? Spike in January, the entire year, it's kind of going down. Little spikes here or there, but it goes down throughout the entire year. And then this year, something interesting is happening, which is we had a spike, but there's more of a straight line this time around. You see the search volume for this particular product, which is a supplement company, and it's a supplement powder, it has increased, or the search volume has leveled, has stayed up throughout the entire year, meaning this industry is booming. This industry, this product is doing really well because it's no longer sort of a trend. At least this is what the chart is telling me, that it's kind of a New Year's resolution kind of thing, that people start taking a lot of this product at the beginning of the year, and throughout the year, people stop taking it. But this year, people are more consistently taking it. That's a big deal for this industry, and more search volume often means better performance. So let me talk about that in a second. So like I said, one of the things you want to do is to find seasonality trends. Does the search volume increase or decrease at different times of the year? Find those trends, find those patterns to make decisions on your account. How is your performance when search volumes increase or decrease? Do your conversions increase or decrease? So open up the Keyword Planner and also go into your Google Ads campaigns and segment by month. And then just go month over month. How are my conversions? And compare that to the Keyword Planner on like a different tab. And what you might find is that performance is better. You get more conversions when there's more search volume. Again, might be pretty obvious to some, but maybe not as obvious to others. So keep that in mind. When search volume is higher, you will get more conversions and a better cost per conversion and a better ROAS oftentimes. Consider budget increases or decreases when looking at past year's search results. So here's like another pattern, and if you hover over it, it'll give you like month over month comparisons, right? So here it's saying that January 2022 had a 30% increase over December of 2021. So you find those little increases and decreases. And again, you might want to adjust your budgets, talk to clients and tell them, hey, this time of the year, we have more search volume. We might do better in terms of performance. It's a good time of the year to increase the budgets, right? So also check for your branded keywords. Has brand awareness increased over time? Have we gotten more branded conversions than this time last year? Sometimes I like to find these little spikes, like what happened in 2022 here in January or December of 2021 or January 2022 when we had this big spike in brand awareness for this particular company. Turns out that an influencer was talking about the brand, but it's also great to learn and see if year over year search volume is increasing for your particular brands, because if it is, that means their brand awareness is growing and it's healthy. And if it's not growing, then you might want to launch things like brand awareness campaigns. Even if they don't generate a lot of immediate conversions, you still want to target that top of funnel traffic to make sure that over time your brand awareness is increasing. So again, adjust your target CPA and your target ROASs depending on your search volume. And again, the Google Ads app can help you do that. And remember that performance is generally better during periods of higher search volume. And one reason it's better is because the account, Google has more of a pool of people to grab from, right? So if you're using target CPA or target ROAS, it's easier for the algorithm to achieve your desired target CPA or target ROAS if there are more people to choose from. If there's less people, there's less search volume, then it's harder for the algorithm to achieve those targets. So consider all those things. Consider using the app as well to make those target CPA and target ROAS decisions, and consider increasing your budgets during periods when seasonality is up. So that is number 2. That is check search volume using the keyword planner. Let's go to the third tip, which is going to be to stop focusing on CPA and ROAS and focus more on conversion rate. So this is one that I was talking about, has more to do with a change in thought process. Too many people I see, and I know this because I was a manager for a while and I coached a lot of rookie beginner Google Ads strategists, managers, account managers. And a lot of times, and I listen to a lot of phone calls, and the calls with clients would always be, when I have to coach people on communication on calls, 90% of the call would just be talking about the numbers, right? How many leads did we achieve last month and what was our cost per conversion? That was generally the conversation. What was the ROAS last month, or what was the CPA, and how do we improve the ROAS or the CPA? It's almost like there's an obsession with improving the CPA or the ROAS, and I think you're missing the big picture. One simple way of shifting this mindset is to, instead of focusing on the CPA, think about the conversion rate, which I believe the conversion rate might actually be one of the most underrated metrics out there, or the most least talked about metrics out there, because it might seem obvious, or it might seem like I'm crazy. You might think, no, obviously conversion rate is important. Everybody talks about conversion rate, but I don't think conversion rate gets talked about enough, because you're not thinking about this the right way. Remember that low CPA and ROAS is often the result of a poor conversion rate. In other words, your website is not converting your traffic. That's kind of the problem that's going on here. Think of it like, okay, I'm getting 100 clicks and not enough of my clicks are converting. The problem is not my CPA in the account, because that's where the issue is people are too obsessed with, okay, I'm going to go pause these keywords because they have a high CPA. No, maybe the keywords are delivering traffic that is perfectly fine, but for whatever reason, your traffic is not converting on the website. So once you realize that and you start focusing on the conversion rate, okay, I'm driving all these clicks to the website and those clicks are not turning into conversions, or they're not turning into conversions at a high enough rate, that's where you have to start to decide, instead of pausing these keywords that are driving perfectly fine traffic, or instead of trying to make changes in structure of the account, things that are not going to make a big difference, maybe the thing that I should be doing is improving the website or improving the offer on the website. Instead of thinking, why is my CPA so high, or why is my ROAS so low, you should be thinking instead of, why are my clicks not converting at a high enough rate? You could be driving poor quality traffic to the website. That is true. So you might want to look at the relevance of your clicks and your traffic. If you do have broad keywords or phrase keywords, there could be irrelevant traffic in there, and that could be a reason why the conversion rate is low, right? So of course, you still want to check the account, but if you're driving qualified traffic and the traffic is not converting, remember that it could be an issue with the website. So think about the conversion rate. Most of the time, the best way to improve your cost per conversion, or ROAS, is by improving your website landing page or offer. So remember that, and remember to know your industry benchmarks as well. So that's another important bonus tip here, is to always compare your conversion rate to that of your industry benchmarks, right? And here I'm sharing a screenshot from the industry benchmarks provided by WordStream. These are benchmarks that I've been using for a long time, and rest in peace to Mark Irvine, who passed away recently, and he was the one, I believe, who was putting these together for a long time. So I hope that WordStream is able to continue. I got to actually meet Mark once. We worked together on a project. He was a consultant for an account that I got the opportunity to work on, that our agency was working on, and he was brought in as a side consultant for the account. He was providing us with advice as far as optimizations and things like that. So got to meet him briefly, and great guy, and hope he rests in peace. And hope WordStream, like I said, is able to continue providing these because they're very valuable. And what you have to do with these is, and you can find them very easily, just Google WordStream industry benchmarks. And what you should do is just find the one that's closest to your industry and just compare your conversion rate on, let's say, your search campaigns to the benchmark. Are you above or below that? And if you're below that, then your goal is going to be, how do I get more people to convert? How do I get more of these clicks to generate conversions? So maybe the issue is with the form. Maybe the issue is with the website. The issue is the offer. The issue is there are not enough before-after photos. That's where you have to decide, how do we improve the conversion rate, get more of our clicks that we're driving already to the website using Google Ads to actually convert. So that's going to be the third tip, which is to stop focusing on the CPA or ROAS and focus on the conversion rate. That's one that is just more of a change in mentality, like I said, change in thought process. Number 4 is going to be a little bit controversial. I posted about this a little while ago, but I stand by it. It's a little bit of a controversial statement, but I believe that quality score is a waste of time. And I think you can safely ignore quality score for the most part, most of the time, and it's not going to make a huge difference in your account. So I would say stop optimizing quality score and focus on other aspects of the campaign or the website. That's the overall tip. That's the suggestion. The myth, and I did this post on LinkedIn a little while ago, is that quality score affects CPC. I have an image here of the Mythbusters Google Ads edition, and I posted this, like I said, on LinkedIn. The myth is that good quality score equals low CPC and bad quality score equals a high CPC. That's the prevailing thought behind it, and that's why so many people are focused on optimizing your landing page experience, your ad relevance, your expected CTR, because you think that that's going to lower your CPC, which is going to improve your cost per conversion. Again, obsession with the cost per conversion and the ROAS. Generally, it's true that when your keywords have a high quality score, you tend to have lower CPCs and vice versa. Yes, it's true, but it's not because you have a low quality score that your CPC was high. This is from Google's own documentation, right? Basically saying the quality score is not a key performance indicator and should not be optimized or aggregated with the rest of your data. Quality score is not an input in the ad auction. It's a diagnostic tool to help identify how ads that show for certain keywords affect the user experience. But it's just a number that Google's giving you to say how your ads compare to ads of other advertisers and user experience and blah, blah, blah. So again, the thought is, okay, these are the components of quality score: expected CTR, ad relevance, and landing page experience. If I improve these, I'll get a lower CPC. The reality is that what actually determines how much you pay per click is the ad rank. And the ad rank has a lot of factors, quality score being one of them. But the ad rank is really what determines the cost per click. And the components of the ad rank are the quality score, which are those 3 components of the quality score, right? The expected CTR, landing page experience, etc. Then in the ad rank, you have to factor in your bid, which if you're using automated bidding, Google is in control of that. You have to factor what is known as ad rank thresholds. You have to factor things like context of the user search, the competitiveness of the auction, and your use of ad assets. So again, so many things here that are already outside of your control. The context of a user search, the competitiveness of the auction, like how many advertisers are advertising. So what I'm saying is that you really have very little way of controlling the CPC. So I think it's a waste of time to spend a lot of your time trying to optimize your account towards getting a better quality score when, first of all, you don't even see the results of that for a while. It can take a long time for you to even see a change in quality score, and it's hard to even find that when that happens. So I just think it's kind of a waste of time. And it's also been revealed that Google appears to be price fixing auctions. And this was proven by John Moran, who I have here in a screenshot, just demonstrating on his campaigns how essentially when you increase your costs, your CPC also increases. And it's been proven that Google has also been increasing their CPC prices just arbitrarily just because they want to hit revenue targets. So just because Google wants to make more money, you're also paying higher CPC. So the cost per click is so out of your control that I find that it's better to just focus on other things in the account to optimize. Think of other things to do, and you'll get better results in the long term. So I think quality score optimizations will make little to no difference at all in the CPC, as I said, and focus on the other aspects of your account. So number 4 is that quality score, I believe, is a waste of time. Going over to number 5 is to use Microsoft Clarity. This is another one of those like, duh, I'm already using it. Some of you might already be using it, but for me, I find that a lot of people are not using it. And I'm not going to go into exactly everything you can do with Microsoft Clarity here, because there's a lot of stuff for which Microsoft Clarity is extremely useful for in terms of heat maps and or site maps and where people are clicking and all that navigation stuff. It's great for all that stuff. But the tip that I'm sharing here that I believe I discovered this on my own. Maybe somebody else has talked about this before, but I have never seen anybody talk about this before, is that you can actually use Microsoft Clarity for offline conversion tracking purposes. And I use it almost every day now for offline conversion tracking, specifically to find the GCLID. So what am I talking about here? So you are aware that we are moving towards a cookie-less world, right? Although I guess Chrome recently announced, or Google recently announced, they're no longer removing the cookies from Chrome. But anyway, iOS devices, ever since the apocalypse happens with the iOS, what was it, 13, 14? Anyway, Apple devices are now blocking cookies, which makes them harder to track. And the GCLID was one of those things that was falling off. And there's other reasons why the GCLID is falling off. The Google Click ID, which is attached to every ad. People might be using VPNs or ad blockers or all sorts of things. They might switch devices. There's all sorts of things that happen that result in making it difficult for Google to track conversions. And then it also makes it hard to find out in your CRMs which clicks came from Google Ads and which clicks ended up becoming sales and importing those offline conversions. So Microsoft Clarity, this to me does feel like a cheat code. It feels like a hack, even though I know it's a buzzword, but to me it does feel almost like a hack or a cheat code. You can actually find those GCLIDs, the ones that you're not supposed to see because they come from iOS devices. They are there on Microsoft Clarity. So to do that, use these filters. So first of all, open the recordings tab in Microsoft Clarity and then put in these filters. Just select whatever date range you want. And then under the where, select visit URL contains thank or thank you page or whatever thank you page you have. And for entry URL contains GCLID. Select those options. And if you don't have a thank you page, if you have like an event, you can use something called enter text, which is around the filters as well, and only use the entry URL contains GCLID. Next thing you're going to do is to go to your recordings, and on the left corner there where you see the arrow, you can download all of your recordings with these filters, right? So what that looks like when you download it is you get an Excel file, you open it, and you literally have an entry. All the entry URLs have the GCLIDs. Like I said, Microsoft Clarity, for whatever reason, is preserving them. You're not losing them like you lose them with regular tracking on your CRM. Microsoft Clarity has the entry URL saved perfectly, including the GCLID. So what I did here is I created a new column and I put together a formula that just extracts that GCLID from the formula, or from the URL. What I'm showing here with the arrows is how many of these are coming from iOS devices. Again, you're not supposed to get these GCLIDs. Microsoft or Apple is supposed to be blocking these people. You're not supposed to have access to these. And again, it feels like a hack that using Microsoft Clarity, you can find all these missing GCLIDs. And in some cases, how do I use them? Well, number one, I use them to upload conversions that are missing, because I often find that Google Ads sometimes just doesn't track conversions for me, even though I have proper conversion tracking set up using Google Tag Manager. Sometimes for whatever reason, even though the tag fired and everything, a conversion just doesn't get sent to Google Ads. I find that happens from time to time. So I will just upload these as conversions to make sure that they are in the account. The lead, the form submission here, I will upload it to the account to make sure that it's in there. But also, if you can point out or find in your CRM that this click eventually turned into a sale, you can upload, of course, your offline conversions. So this gets you around that whole problem with enhanced conversions, right? Because what Google introduced in order to get around the GCLID problem, the GCLIDs going away, was the enhanced conversions for leads. The problem with the enhanced conversions for leads, in which you use the email address and the phone number, is that it fails a lot of the time. GCLIDs often don't fail. GCLIDs almost always, I'm able to upload almost 100% of them. Maybe one or two will fail out of every, if I'm uploading 25 or 30, maybe one will fail. But most of the time, the GCLIDs are always able to be uploaded, whereas the enhanced conversions, a lot of them, like a third of them, will not be able to be uploaded. So with the GCLIDs, you can find them. The only downside here is that you do have to do this manually. I haven't been able to figure out a way to really automate this. There's no way to automate or automatically schedule a download of this spreadsheet so that it lands on a Google Sheet somehow, and then Zapier pulls it into your offline conversion sheet. You do have to manually copy paste all this stuff into your offline conversion sheet and upload that sheet into Google Ads. So you do have to do some manual work, but this is where I'm spending a lot of my time now with offline conversions and Google Ads. Is finding these missing conversions and uploading offline conversions to enhance my data. And again, to me, this feels like a hack, being able to get the GCLIDS from iOS devices. So try this with Microsoft Clarity if you are somebody who regularly uploads offline conversions, and if you're frustrated by the lack of GCLIDS in your clicks and your conversions, you can find them on Microsoft Clarity. So give that a try. That is tip number 5, which is to use Microsoft Clarity to find GCLIDS for offline conversion tracking. And finally, number 6 is going to be to get better at PPC, get better at business and marketing. In order to get better at PPC, get better at business and marketing. This was my answer when somebody on LinkedIn asked a few months ago, how do I get better at PPC, or what should you tell somebody that wants to get better at PPC? What is your number 1 tip? Half the people answered, never stop learning. That's like the generic advice that everybody always gives. Get better at PPC, never stop learning, so always be learning. And I'm like, that's so like cringe. And I'm like, that's so cringe. I know I'm a jerk, but here's better advice. Learn more business and marketing. You will become a more well-rounded expert, and that will make you better at Google Ads. Learning about things that have nothing to do with Google Ads will make you better at Google Ads, because you will pick up on things from all those other areas. You'll pick up on general marketing things or general business things, and you will incorporate that into your Google Ads knowledge. You'll strategize thinking about those things that you have learned in Google Ads. So understanding business helps you see the bigger picture of what's going on in the business. It enhances, or it makes you a better expert. Google Ads is just a small cog in the machine, and you will communicate with clients at a higher level. You have more knowledge. You can communicate with clients about their business, ask them about their business. You will understand metrics like cost of goods sold and profit margins and CAC and LTV. You start to have those business conversations with your client, which these are not metrics that you regularly use within Google Ads. So having this level of communication and being able to be more knowledgeable about business and marketing, you increase your value as an expert. You become a true consultant to your clients. You can charge more money because you're advising them not just on PPC, but on their entire business. Like I said, PPC, Google Ads, that's just a little part of the mechanism of delivering advertising or placing ads in front of the people that are trying to buy from you, or the people that are searching for your products and services. That's all Google Ads is doing, but it's only just a small portion of the machine. Remember that if the business is successful, then Google Ads will be successful. On the other hand, if the business is not successful, then Google Ads will fail. That's just a reality. Even if Google Ads is doing wonderful, if the business is doing poorly, Google Ads will eventually fail, or your client will eventually cancel. They will leave you, because the business has to do well for Google Ads to do well. You could be delivering hundreds of leads, have great, amazing results, but if the client is not doing a good job, if the business is not doing a good job at selling those leads, at converting those leads, then Google Ads will eventually fail. So my job, when I talk to clients, I'm always asking them, okay, how many of these leads are closing? I'm delivering, we were able to get 100 leads last month. Okay, how many were you able to close? Okay, what was the challenge? Why weren't you able to close them? Because you want to identify, is the problem on Google Ads? Is the problem with the quality of those leads? Or is the problem that you're just not closing enough leads? The other day, I decided to just straight up mystery shop one of my clients. I submitted several test forms with fake emails or fake phone numbers, or in this case, they were real emails and phone numbers that we've created for mystery shopping purposes, just to figure out, okay, how many touch points are they doing? How many times are they reaching out to me? How many times are they trying to contact me to buy their product or service? And, this one client reached out to me only once. I had only one touch point. They never reached out again. They never attempted more than one contact. And that's why their business is not doing as well as it could. So those kinds of things, you have to get good at talking about those kinds of things and advising your clients on those kinds of things to make sure that their business is successful, so that Google Ads is successful, and you will have a long-term relationship with your clients. I attended a conference this year called Traffic and Conversions in Las Vegas. You may have heard of it. There's many different marketing conferences. I recommend that at some point, if you're serious about this career in this industry, attend one of these conferences, whichever is closest to your city. Find a way to go to one of these conferences. And what I liked about this, or what was interesting about traffic and conversions here, is that very little of it was PPC related. Like almost nobody. Qasim was one of the guys that did talk about Google Ads a little bit. But most of these had nothing to do with Google Ads. A lot of these speakers talked about just business in general, marketing in general, email marketing, a lot of meta, SEO, a lot of automation, AI stuff that you can do, a lot of automations that you can do with AI. And I was able to take so many of these little things, like a lot of this AI stuff that now I'm incorporating into what I do every day to put together budget proposals or recommendations, or just different ways that I'm thinking about business that I'm incorporating into my own Google Ads strategies. And this is how you can enhance your knowledge. And if you can't attend conferences, like start by reading some books. I was a terrible reader. I never read books at all. And I was able to I decided, let me give it a try. And I actually read $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. And that one was a very easy read, and it really changed my habit, I guess. I read Atomic Habits, which also helps with habits. And I think you don't have to read that many books that are, I'm not saying read books about PPC or marketing. You can even read stuff that is just self-improvement, like Atomic Habits. Reading $100 Million Offers, Alex Hormozi actually gave me a great tip, which is that I always had trouble with concentration. That's why I never read. I always got distracted, and I was never able to concentrate and never able to read properly. But when I started to read using the audiobooks as well, listen and read at the same time, different parts of your brain are more engaged and you're able to concentrate a lot better. So I found that now I can listen to audiobooks at like a 2x speed, and I can actually read a lot faster than I ever have, and I have no problem going through these books in just like in 3 or 4 hours, So the two Alex Hormozi books are amazing. If you want to get better at PPC, read those two. And then just, classics like How to Win Friends and Influence People, Atomic Habits is great. Breakthrough Advertising, you can't really find that book. It's not available to buy, but you can learn about it like through YouTube videos or blogs or things across the internet, things about the levels of awareness, things like that you can learn that are considered great books for business, marketing in general, are going to make you better at PPC. So that is my advice. So let's recap. That gets us to the end here of the 6 tips to make you better at Google Ads. Number 1, remember to use the Google Ads mobile app. Number 2, look at search volume using the keyword planner. Number 3, stop worrying about CPA and ROAS and think about the conversion rate. Number 4, quality score is a waste of time. Number 5 is to use Microsoft Clarity. And number 6 is to learn more about marketing and business in general. You will thank me later. I think you'll get a lot of mileage out of some of these tips. So hopefully give some of these a try. Let me know if any of this was helpful, useful. And thank you for watching if you watched all the way to the end. Like I said, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, on X, find PPC Unleashed on Instagram and TikTok. I might be taking clips from this episode and posting little snippets here or there on those platforms, so be on the lookout for that. And if you did watch it, sorry if it's a little bit spammy if you're getting the same messages again, but it's the name of the game. So thank you again for watching, and hope to see you all next week in another episode of PPC Unleashed. If you like this format, if you want me to do more of it, let me know, and I'll think of more tips to do for future episodes. Again, thanks everybody for watching. Until next time.